Sideline Stories Episode 9 features Zac Hiller. Zac grew up outside New York City and eventually started his own agency, LAA. He currently represents NFL stars like Dalvin Cook, J.K. Dobbins, and Josh Gordon. Let's dive into his story. Welcome back to another episode of Sideline Stories. This is Season 1, Episode 9, and I'm joined by Zac Hiller from LAA. Zac, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
You grew up in a small town called Suffern, New York, which is just north of the city, and it's a pretty small town. But can you just talk a little bit about what it was like growing up there?
It was a smaller town. You know, New York City was like 35, 40 minutes away, but while I was growing up, I didn't even realize what that meant, or like, I don't even think I ever went to New York City, or maybe I went once and was like, this is out of control. And like, this is kind of more my speed and what I'm looking for. From playing hockey and everything, I got to see some more opportunities of like, oh, okay, there's some bigger cities, bigger schools out there that I might fit me and my personality best. So I ended up using hockey, obviously, to figure out where I would end up at school, because I got a full scholarship offer, but it was a small school in Maryland, and it kind of had like that high school feel, or the town that I was used to, and I wanted more, more diverse, bigger campus, and that's how I ended up at Michigan.
Was Dalvin Cook your first client ever?
Dalvin was my first client, yes.
That's not a bad first client. And then when you're thinking about what LAA represents and how you distinguish yourself from other agencies, other representation groups. I know the L stands for loyalty. What does the principle of loyalty mean to you, and how does that distinguish you from other agencies?
It took me 4 years to kind of really come up with my brand. So when I signed Dalvin at Florida State and we joined forces, I guess I was still trying to find my identity of what is this? What is the service? What do I actually bring to the table? And going through that process of the draft, and then him getting drafted, and then the maintaining of whatever came our way in the league. He happened to tear his ACL, taking care of making sure we had the best doctors, the best rehab, being there every step of the way. And then obviously getting the second contract and the extension, and then 5 years, $63 million. And now him being set for life, ideally. How did we get there? And I think it was the loyalty between the two of us that, hey, we're in this together, and I'll do anything that I can for you, and you're going to do the same, and we each play our roles. I just kind of applied that principle of being loyal to each other. So what loyalty means to me is that if I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And if you ask me to do something, I'm going to do it, because I know that if I ask something of you, that person would do the same. So I think it's just about loyalty is just, trust and being there for somebody. And when you say something, you actually do it.
Some of the major news from earlier this summer is now that college athletes can make money off of name, image, and likeness, so the NIL. Mm-hmm. Obviously, this allows someone like yourself who's in the representation space to expand their clientele. But I think it's more than just like more business for agents. How does the new law change the game from both perspectives of the student athletes and of the agents?
Oh, I mean, it changed the entire landscape, because obviously these athletes now, they can generate revenue from their name, image, and likeness, right? But they still have to weigh that and the time that they're going to put into these opportunities versus what do they actually do, and that's their sport. So just using football as the example, the football player in college has to make a decision. Hey, do I want to go do this opportunity on a Saturday or Sunday or Monday or Tuesday, or should I maybe be resting and be in the treatment room? So everyone has to make the decision, because maybe if I miss this treatment session, then my body, which I might need to play in the NFL for 10 years, isn't going to get the work that it needs. So I guess it just made the athletes kind of be recognized more about what's important to them from day one, right? Is it, hey, I'm going to do every single deal I want and I can, because I need every dollar that I can get right now? Or, you know what, maybe I appreciate this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to set up a structure where maybe I'll do opportunities only on Monday, because I want to Tuesday through Sunday, I'm going to be focused on football because I want to get to the National Football League. So it just gave them more responsibilities. I don't think they're getting paid and compensated for what they really do, which is play football for the school that they work for. That's my obviously opinion. And then for agents, how did it really change? What it changed for agents is now it opened up this pool of players that you got to really find the guys that you believe in, and you have to find the guys that you really think are going to make it, because with me being loyal, I want to find the right guy. So that guy might be a freshman who I believe in, that's going to be a first round pick in 3 years down the road. So I might work with him who, hey, maybe right now you're the backup and you're still learning the playbook, but I believe you're going to be a first round pick in 3 years from now. I want to work with you because we have the same mindset that, hey, this is all about getting to the National Football League. It's not necessarily about how many commercials I can be in. You know, if you want to be in commercials, you want to be an actor and you think that you can create generational wealth that way, then we can have that conversation. But I'm looking for the guys that want to who want to create generational wealth to provide for their families. And generally speaking, that's their sport that they play. So,
and we've seen a couple of the guys like Spencer Rattler and Derek King from UMiami where they're now not really in a position to play. One of them's injured and one of them just got benched. So it'll be interesting to see kind of like you said, the long-term. If you're looking for the clients who are thinking long-term, they want to make it to the NFL, they might not take every single deal that's presented to them.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many, everyone has their own opinion on everything in life. Right. And, you know, some guys will say, you know, if and this is not, I'm not saying which one's my opinion or not, but someone would say, hey, maybe if Spencer didn't do all those deals, he would have been throwing the football more. He would still have his starting job. And then somebody else might say, well, you know, it's a good thing that he did those deals because he made some money for what he was doing. And now he might not make any other money from this. So like you can look at it ways, you know.
Well, recently you launched this athlete management training. Talk a little bit about what inspired that and what you're hoping to accomplish with it.
Obviously there's a whole pool of athletes now that back before NIL, technically speaking, couldn't hire any business representatives until they declared they were no longer going to be an amateur, and they went just using football as like they had to play their 3 years of football, and then when their bowl game was done, they'd walk off the field and they'd sign with the person that was going to guide all their business opportunities. Now, as soon as they're even high school, depending on the state, that you can hire a business advisor. So anybody that wants to be an agent right now today, go get clients, go find clients. That's what makes you an agent. Nothing else makes you an agent besides for having clients. Yeah, you can get certified by the NFL Player Association and you can pay $5,000 and you can get your little agent card, but it's not worth anything if you don't have a client. So the program really reinforces the idea that to be a great agent, it's about being loyal, and figuring it out and putting your client's best interest forward. And that's not really taught. That's just innate. That's the type of person that you are, you know? So the program really brings that out in people and shows them exactly what I do on a daily basis and what I believe it takes to be an agent, and allow them to, if they're interested, get a real life look and make it happen. So, and I think that it's super beneficial because there's a whole pool of athletes out there that need representation. And then if you believe you're meant to be an agent, this program will get you to that point. So that's the best way to sum it up.
If there's anything else you'd like to add, any shout outs or where people can find you, that'd be perfect.
LAA Sports ENT for entertainment on Instagram and Twitter. And then my personal ones are at Zac Hiller, ZACHILLER. And then, Brendan, I appreciate you. Keep going forward. If this is the industry you want to be in, you're doing it right. You're doing these podcast calls. You're really putting yourself out there, and that's what it comes to. That's what makes somebody a great agent, is that they're willing to put themselves out there and understand, hey, I'm going to keep pushing forward until I get exactly what I want. And that's what the clients want, right? They're going to want a certain contract, and you got to put yourself out there until you get them that contract. So it's no different. I appreciate you having me on, and I look forward to seeing where you go with this podcast and where you go in the future, and keep in touch with me.
Cool. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you.